Welcome to Pots, Pans, and Pioneers. Today I'm going to do a channel update. Let you know what's kind of going on with our little homestead here. We're under a contract now with a roofing company. They're going to be putting a metal roof on our cabin here. And the insurance, because of the storm that we got right after we moved in, they're going to assist us with that reimbursement. They're only going to, I guess, cover the replaceable value or depreciated replaceable value of a composition roof, and then we're going to pay the difference and upgrade to a steel. It's really not a metal roof, it's a steel roof. It's I believe a 40-year guarantee on the roof. And in 40 years, well, I'll be too old to even worry about a roof. More than likely I'll be in my very late elderly years. So we wanted to put a really strong roof so that would be a non-concern for us. We are at the elevation that we're at, the top of the hill. We get a lot of ice and a lot of snow. On some years we've been told we get a lot of snow and mostly a lot of ice. So we're going to want to make sure that the roof is stable for us. Secondly, I've got a very, what I call a micro garden this year, because I moved here in May and not the early part of spring. I wasn't able to really put in a really nice sized garden. I really want to do a greenhouse gardening, and until we get that built, that's something that's on the project list to be done, and we should have that done before spring of next year. We'll be building that and getting that up and ready to go for me to plant in. And if my husband's watching, this is a note I've promised everybody now. So the second thing is, I've been researching, and lots of different types of animals, the care, the time it takes to take care of them, the issues that homesteads have with them. So I've been doing an enormous amount of research, which is in my gamut. It's kind of what I do. We also had a visit from the game warden, and he told me the best type of duck that I could have out here would be a wood duck. I've not had a chance to look up wood ducks, but perhaps there's another name for those. And if you know, you can leave them in the comments. I'm really not interested in your average, everyday, you know, like I know most people get Peking ducks. We're not going to be harvesting ducks for food. These ducks are going to be my pets, and mainly here to enjoy foraging and the pond and keeping the grass and the pond down. So they're going to have a specific purpose, a specific job, and they're going to give us, you know, sightly enjoyment. So I hope, you know, to have those right when the little hatchlings happen. I'll be getting ducks the first part of the year in 2017, and we'll be putting those as they get old enough and healthy enough to put out. We're going to build a two or three duck boxes, if not one big duck house, and house our ducks. We've got on the trail cams, and I don't know if anybody's got a chance to look over at my husband's channel to see all the drone footage and the trail cams and what's going on in the woods. He kind of does that part on his channel, and I haven't included a lot of that in my entourage of videos, but if you want to see that, I'll leave a link to his channel at the bottom of this video if you'd like to subscribe to his channel to see his perspective and sort of just a different view on the homestead here. He does talk a lot about politics and a lot about his life as a veteran, and there'll be more and more veterans involved with him. We are surrounded by neighbors who are veterans, and I have a distinct feeling that Bill will include them in his video entourage. So let's see, that takes care of the animals. I'll be getting a chicken coop built. So the greenhouse and the chicken coop are close, neck and neck together, depending on which one we finish first. And I'll get chickens in the spring. We have plans, but we don't know how close of those plans, to partner with a family close to us to get beef cows and some pigs for meat production here, so that we constantly have, we already have deer, we have turkey, wild turkey around. We're going to get our pond tested and see if it's deep enough for us to have fish. If not, my husband is thinking about enlarging that pond and making that a resource as well for us to have fish out there. And then we'll have, if I didn't already say pigs, and then beef, and then we're not connoisseurs of rabbits or squirrels, so if you're looking for that on this channel, that's not any of the meats I care to eat. Not because they're not good or healthy, just because I don't, it's, yeah, I don't want to share my opinion about it, but I really just, we're not going to be doing rabbits and squirrels. Let's see, since the last channel update, I've killed 2 copperheads. Everybody knows about the one, I think they know about the one that I killed in my bedroom. It was stuck in a glue trap that I had put down for a mice, and it was what I thought was a juvenile, not a baby, but a juvenile copperhead. And based upon what the locals are showing me and telling me, it probably wasn't a juvenile. It was probably more along the lines of a young adult. And then when we mowed last weekend, and we put these up on Facebook, but we killed another copperhead. I ran over the copperhead with a push mower. I didn't even see it. So you got to be really careful. I do wear tall boots, and on most all the time that I'm mowing, I have pants on, so I was protected, but I did not see the snake at all. I ran over him midway through his body, and my husband came and got him, and then killed him. So we have a neighbor that's going to be buying a bunch of sulfur at bulk, and he said he would bring us up a few bags of sulfur, and I guess sulfur powder or granules helps keep the snakes down, etc. We have a lot of armadillo, and we've talked about this in our other videos, and the game warden has told us just to shoot every one you see, because the Arkansas is overrun with armadillo due to the gentleman who was from Texas who moved here and brought them as pets, and they have just populated like crazy in Arkansas, and they are trying to eliminate them. So night or day, rain or shine, if you see an armadillo in Arkansas, the game warden has told us everybody is free to eliminate those. I need to do some more practicing with the guns that I have. I am here probably 70% of the time by myself right now, and that's about to change because my husband's going to be up here full time in the next few weeks, and so we're going to be able to get a lot more accomplished. So big plans. I've got more flowers and stuff that I planted. I'll be doing a garden update on a next video. If you're interested in looking at all of the landscape and the gardening, I'm going to include that with some specific types of trees that I found here on the property, and a really fun visit. I'll give information about a really fun visit that I had with the neighbors who have been here in excess of 40 years, and they have watched all the people that have bought and sold this property. They have a lot of history on this property. a few funny stories, and I'll share that on that video. Let's see. No one's asked, but I think this topic is important. When you're moving to a homestead, I think it's important that if you have pets like cats or dogs, that if they've never lived out on a homestead type situation or the country, you really need to take time and not only prep them for bugs, ticks, fleas, chiggers, but you also need to make sure that the breed that you're bringing with you is conducive to this environment. Most of everybody that watches my channel and who's been a loyal watcher knows that I have 2 Shar-Pei. Well, I have a full-blood Shar-Pei that's blind, and then I have another Shar-Pei who's getting up in years. And this is not a good breed for a homestead environment, in my opinion. They have an excessive amount of allergies that warrant high risk for infection. Not only if they eat the wrong food, but they do excessive scratching, they can get infection on their skin. And I'm having all kinds of issues with my full-blooded Shar-Pei who's really hypoallergenic, and maybe I'll do a video on that and show y'all. But he really has never lived out in the country. He prefers concrete over dirt. He's very sensitive on his feet. He doesn't like to walk in the grass at all. He like tiptoes like a little ballerina, and he doesn't like to stay outside in the heat. He prefers to be up under my feet wherever I'm at, which is if I'm outside, he stays on the porch and watches me because it's concrete, and if I'm inside, he's sleeping. So I'm not sure that either of these dogs are getting a full enjoyment like I thought they would. I really thought that they would enjoy the country and everything would be great, and they would have a new perspective and get to really flourish as dogs. They do less playing here. There's hardly any barking because we don't have a lot of people rolling up here. We're so remote, so there's not a lot of barking involved. The mail lady comes up, which she's due here any minute. They do bark. So I'll just update you on the millipedes. Again, I'm doing lots of research. I know more about millipedes than I've known my whole entire life. And I had somebody comment on my channel that a millipede is just a centipede. Sadly, it's not just a centipede. It's not just a caterpillar. A millipede's purpose in existing is to eat rotten, decomposing wood. They don't even like rotten food. They are looking for damp, soft wood. That's what a millipede is here to do. They're here to show you where it is, and they're here to scavenge it. So our infestation of millipedes is a key indicator that we have a lot of rotten wood, and they're not going to leave. I can keep them at bay with pesticide. I can fend them off. I can trap them. I can sweep them up every day, but they're not going to go away until we replace the rotten wood. And I think they're a great alarm system because they don't sting, they don't bite. They're a nuisance for sure. But a millipede's purpose is to do just what I said. And when we start replacing the banisters and the wood that we see is rotten, and we go around tapping on wood to see where things are rotten, and we replace that wood, the millipedes will find no use for our property and they will leave. So that may be an ongoing battle, something I'm going to have to face. I don't know. The neighbor down here told me she has them, but not at the extent that I do, and I think that is because of what we have going on here. But she told me that they've just shown up here in the last couple of years She hasn't seen them since, but I don't know if that's her, specific to her property or this property. So I think it's just that this cabin has not been, you know, looked after. We did find out from the records that this cabin, the main room of the cabin, was built in the 60s. And it's been modified, this cabin has been modified, let's just say more than 2 times. Rooms have been eliminated, rooms have been added, plumbing has been added, electricity has been added, and we do now know who built this cabin, who hand built it. We know who modified it, and all have been deceased. And so we have a little bit of history. The last time it was modified or remodeled was in the early 90s. And yeah, so we have a little bit more knowledge about it than we did when we bought the property. And I'm sure more stories are to come based upon, you know, us finding out through people. We've had people just drive up here and say they used to come up here as a child, so they wanted to see, they heard somebody had bought it and they wanted to see what we had done with it, which we hadn't had time to do much with it. But I was impressed. The UPS driver came up yesterday, and he was a different driver than my regular driver. And he walked up to the door and said, "You have a beautiful property." And that always makes you feel good that you're going in the right direction, and certainly something that we want to do. We want to have a place where when you come here, it doesn't stress you out. It offers you a place of peace and tranquility, and lots of little things and little scenic views to look at, and a place where you can come and relax. You know, that's our goal. So I think that's it. That's pretty much what's been going on. I do have some more recipes that I've dug up out of my grandmother's handwritten recipes I'm going to be doing. I've got to buy the ingredients for those recipes in order to do them. I made steak fingers the other night for my husband, and he thoroughly enjoyed them. So I may do a video on the steak finger recipe that I came up with that he enjoyed. And I think that's about it. We got the toilet replaced upstairs, and that was no small project. And my husband and I did that, mostly him but me together. I've replaced him before, he had not. So I was basically there to guide him, but it's been replaced and it's working perfectly. So we have a full functioning bathroom upstairs. The tub is still not working down here, but the sink and the toilet do, so we'll have to replace that toilet. I mean, not the toilet, I apologize. We'll have to replace the bathtub. And we're just gonna put a soaking tub in there. Not anything fancy at all. It's just gonna be a plain bathtub for now. And then at some point in the future, we're gonna get that area and make a walk-in, just a walk-in stone shower. Just a shower only. It won't have a bathtub in it. So I think that's about it. The summer is in full force. We're getting 94, 95 temperatures. The heat index is about 103. Our air conditioner upstairs is struggling hard. It may or may not continue to work. So that's happening. I put an air conditioner in the kitchen, so I lost a window. But that's something that, you know, that's something that we're going to have to combat. And we may or may not get an air conditioner for our bedroom in the evening. Most of the time, by the time we go to bed, the temperatures have cooled way down. And we're able to tolerate, I think it's about like 77 in there. And we're able to tolerate sleeping in those warm temperatures. I saw some videos out by YouTubers saying that air conditioner makes you weak, and I saw the American Homestead put out a video on how air conditioners value that you give it. I've lived with air conditioner my entire life. I've been without air conditioner for long periods of time during storms. And when I had my house in Dallas, I was 2 years without a central air conditioner, and I had window units. And I can tell you that extreme heat is not healthy. Ask any doctor. That's why people run around making sure that elderly people have air conditioners. If your body's not conducive to high levels of heat, someone recommending that you go off air conditioning, I don't know. I think that has to be a slow process. Your body needs to acclimate to the climate that you're living in, and you need to do things at a gradual pace when trying to change temperatures. We never know what's going on in our bodies, and we never know, how the temperature affects that. So I would caution anybody, if you've lived with air conditioner your whole life, excuse me, I would go at it at a very slow pace if you're trying to live off grid. From what the stories I know, the people that I've talked to, anytime they've lived with air conditioning without it for long periods of going off grid like that, there's immediate colds and sickness, and your body does resist the fact that it does not have the ability to cool down. That has to be something that's learned. So anyway, I hope that this video gives you kind of an update. I've gotten some emails asking me for an update. We've faced some challenges, but there's not been one we haven't been able to overcome yet. So I think it's important to plan. We've been able to borrow and hire people for bush hogging at this point. We have an idea that we might go ahead and decide to log an unusable part of our property. You can't walk on it, you can't garden with it. It's an unusable area, and it's not really full of deer because of the inclines. So we may end up logging that area to get some cash to be able to buy some equipment that we need for keeping up with this property. Those are things we didn't do, and I would strongly caution you, buy all your equipment first before you buy your land. Get that paid off before you buy your land so that you have the ability to maintain your property. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I appreciate everybody that watches my videos. I love all the comments, and I truly enjoy the interaction, and hopefully I can keep everybody entertained. This is really a vlog, just something documenting the years with my husband and I living out on a homestead, and documenting some of my life for my grandchildren and my children, to take tidbits of information to learn from, and to live their life. So I don't have a how-to channel. I'm not ever teaching somebody how to do something. I'm just giving somebody a peek into my life and showing you how I do it. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and go through some of my other videos before you judge this one, and take a look around, and see if it's a good fit for your subscription list. So I'll see you next time on the next video. Everybody have a blessed day.